What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What is up? How are y'all doing today? It is finally Friday, and that y'all know what that means. That means we about to have us a good old time tonight. I am your host, Emmanuel Noisette, aka E-Man, just like He-Man without the H. Thank you so much for joining me today. For those of y'all that are new, I want y'all to know that I am here to help you out with the news from the week in the entertainment world. We're going to go through dates with the Flash, some other things with DC. We got some movie delays that have happened, and we're going to cover a whole bunch of other stuff as well. So just make sure you stay tuned for all of that. I do want to say also that, like, if you want to be a part of the conversation, if you want to be a part of the EFAM, aka the livest, bestest crew on YouTube that you will ever find, all you got to do is subscribe. Just go ahead, subscribe to the channel. You will not miss out or regret it. I promise you, or your money back. But no, subscribing is free. Please feel free to do it. Listen, I might pop up on your news page, on your news feed a lot. Every time you hit the home button and you see my video, but yet you not subscribed, just go ahead and subscribe. It ain't gonna hurt. It's gonna be the same difference, but it's gonna help the channel all the much more. So if you enjoy the content, please go ahead and subscribe. And only subscribers are able to actually comment, so you definitely want to do that so you can join the conversation. I want to hear your voice, and so does everybody else. But speaking of which, I need to say thank you very much. I want to get the name right. Thank you very much to Gary Jones for being on the replay gang. Shout out to the replay gang and hitting that thanks button for $4.99. Thank you so much for supporting the channel like that. I really appreciate it. Unfortunately, I don't always get to shout y'all out in real time, but if you do hit the thanks button and you donate something to the channel, I do my best to at least quickly acknowledge you right there in the comments, just to show my appreciation. So thank you very much for that, Mr. Gary. So let's see. We have to go ahead and shout out a couple people. Let's see, we got some people here today. Let's see who's with us. We got my man Dex of Reason. What is going on, brother? Thank you so much for you're doing the replay gang. Okay, that's all good. Yeah, and go and enjoy Elemental. Elemental was pretty good. I actually didn't make a video for it, but I did post some of my interviews, so y'all could go check those out. They're pretty fun, pretty entertaining. And I do actually have a review for Elemental, but you'll have to go to themovieblog.com in order to read it over there. Let's see, Jerome, what's going on? Thank you so much. You also on the replay gang? All good. Good luck with those college exams. Let's see, my man Johnny Washington's here. Well, yeah, we'll talk about that a little later. Let's see, Paul, what's going on? How you doing? Let's see. Then we got, I don't know who is calling me. No. Let's see. Carl, what is up? How you doing? Good to see you. Come on now. We got Ms. Harper. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much, and happy Friday to you as well. My man John Robinson's here. What's going on? J Mart, what's up? How are you? Got my man Angel Gonzalez holding it down with the Mod Squad. What's going on, brother? Coming through. We got a top support in the building with Deborah Rodriguez. Hello, ma'am. Good to see you. Another homie in the building, Kiki West. How you doing, ma'am? Good to see you too. Let's see who else. Kiki and Kimmy. There we go. Kimmy J, how you doing? Thank you so much for being here. Pamela, what's up? How are you? We got the homie Rhonda. How you doing, ma'am? Good to see you as always. My man DJ Payne is back. Good to see you. The homie Zia Latrice is back. Thank you so much. Christy, good to see you too. Thank you so much. My man Reese is back. Thank you so much. Oh, it looks like you went to summer camp. I'm glad you had a good time there. Lamar, what's going on? Treese, hello. Corey, what is up? We got more Mod Squad in the building with SJ Evans. Hello, ma'am. Good to see you. Let's see. My man Nelson V is back. What's going on? Let's see. Tyra, the homie, what is up? How are you? Chill Spot, good to see you back. Thank you so much. We got another homie in the building with T-Ville. Hello. Cal Payne, how you doing? Theo, what is up? My man Terrence is here. How you doing? Thank you so much. Soto, what's up? Another Mod Squad with Kristen Pratt. Hello, ma'am. Good to see you. Hoodlum, what is up? How are you? Treble Clef, I see you. Let's see. Levitus, hello, hello. Sean, what's going on, brother? Callow, how you doing? Shauna is back. Thank you so much. My man David is here. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you. Let's see. Charles is here. Hello, hello. D Brown, what's up? How are you? Let's see. Tyrese, hello, hello. Let's see who else. DJ, what is up? Thank you so much for being here. And let's see, I got a couple more. Metreon, hello, hello. And let's see, Thomas, I see you. Philroy, what is up? IMAX is back. Joe, how you doing? Rebecca is here. Hello, hello. Tanya, what is up? Samuel, Jose. Shout out to all of y'all for being here and for everyone that is joining a little bit later. I appreciate y'all so much. We got a quick comment here from Deborah. Thank you so much. See, look, I told y'all, top supporter. Oh my goodness. Happy Father's Day, E-Man, and all the dads out there. Thank you so much for that, Deborah. I really appreciate it. And yes, definitely a huge shout out to all of the dads out there. Father's Day is coming up on Sunday, so shout out to y'all. I know for myself, I am doing my best. I'm doing my best to try and get all my work done. I got interviews I got to post for y'all. I got more breakdowns I got to do for From. I have to prepare for Secret Invasion that's going to be coming out next week, that we're going to be going through. So I'm trying to get all that done so that Sunday I ain't got to do nothing. I want to relax on Sunday and not have to lift a finger if possible, but we'll see if that ends up happening. But this also leads me to my next thing, which is Monday is going to be Juneteenth, and it is one of the reasons why, of course, I had to celebrate, and because we're talking about DC a whole lot today. But I definitely wanted to talk about Juneteenth just real quick for some people that just might not really know what it's all about. Juneteenth basically is all about back in 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation was issued, freeing all the slaves, but that was only in the North and all the places that were controlled by the Union. In other words, the Confederates, they wasn't giving up slavery because that's literally why they went to war with the whole Civil War. It was over slavery. Don't let nobody tell you different. It's literally written in their constitution. But even after the Civil War was fought and the South lost, in 1864, unfortunately there were still some slaves that did not get the word. Some of the slaveholders and masters, they did not give the information, big surprise, to the slaves that they actually were officially free, not until months later into June. So I think it was everything ended around like March or whatever, but they didn't get the word until June. So that's why we're celebrating Juneteenth. That's why it's a federal holiday. That's why DC came out with this, by the way, to celebrate it, because that was when slavery officially ended in some ways, not all. But I did want to just kind of give some people that, just in case people was wondering what's the big deal, Juneteenth, I don't get it. But that was it. Anyway, we have some news that we have to get to today. I'm going to do my best to get through it as quickly as possible. I know a lot of y'all like these 3-hour things. I don't be trying to do that. I'm gonna try to get through it quick, mainly because I got other work to do. So first off, let us start off with this classic battle or dynamic between Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. And for any of y'all that haven't known, these two are probably two of the most well-known action stars, coming all the way from the 80s. Like, they pretty much defined what action was like. Now, the same way how, like, for some of y'all youngsters, the way that John Wick is kind of like the new evolution of action for now, like in the 2010s and moving on in 20s. In the 80s and 90s, it was Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sly Stallone. They was head to head, battle for battle. Every movie, one was trying to outdo the other. My man Sly had Rambo, Arnold had Terminator. I'm a Tango and Cash kind of guy. I love that with Sly. But hey, even Arnold's like bogus movies, like what was it? Gosh, it was the one where he was the toy that came to life. Last Action Hero. I like that movie. I know it flopped. But I like that movie as a kid. But yeah, these two have been always going at it, and there was always like friendly competition, right? Like I don't know if it was always friendly, but it always seemed like good, positively spirited. And I remember I think Sly had told this story about how Arnold Schwarzenegger tricked him into doing a movie because Sly always wanted to outdo Arnold and Arnold wanted to outdo Sly. And Stallone had talked about how Arnold acted as though he was really, really interested in doing a certain movie. I think it was what was it? It was something like I threw Mama off the train or Mama something. It was something with the Mama in the train or whatever. And Sly was like, "No, I want that movie. I'm gonna get that movie. I'm gonna go do that movie." And Arnold literally played him to the left. Like Arnold was not interested in it, but he did it just to send Sly off. Sly went ahead and did that movie, and it was not good. It was a flop. It was terrible. But that's how they whole controversy and stuff used to go down, and it was all good. This is all before social media, by the way. But with all that said, it seems as though the two giants have kind of like had a bit of a resolution of who has been the better action star. And Arnold, in case y'all didn't know, he does have a documentary on Netflix right now. And on this documentary, we talked about it just last week, where James Cameron was straight checking him, and Arnold was telling us the story about that. But now Sly Stallone, he's also on that documentary. I haven't watched the whole thing, so this is all news to me. But Sly also was on there, and he had a confession. And we can go to that real quick. It basically goes down with Sly talking about Arnold, and he says here, Stallone says, Stallone even makes an appearance in the Netflix documentary Arnold to praise his former enemy for reinventing the action genre. It says here in the 80s, the 80s was a very interesting time because the definitive action guy had not really been formed yet. Up until that time, action was a car chase like Bullet or The French Connection, a film all about intellect and innuendo and verbal this and verbal that. He goes on to say, you actually relied upon your body to tell the story. Dialogue was not necessary. I saw that there was an opportunity because no one else was doing this except for some other guy from Austria who doesn't need to say much. He was superior. He just had all the answers. He had the body. He had the strength. That was his character. And it goes, Schwarzenegger goes on to say, every time Sly came out with the movie like Rambo 2, I had to figure out a way of now outdoing that. Without Stallone, I wouldn't have been as motivated in the 80s to do the kind of movies that I did, and to work as hard as I did. I'm a competitive person. So that was pretty cool. Shout out to both of them. Sly basically acknowledging that, yeah, I think we all kind of knew this though. Like, I always had Arnold as like the definition of an action star. Now, that's not a knock to Sly Stallone. Matter of fact, it was funny because in Last Action Hero, there is a scene where obviously the movies and everything is reversed a little bit, and they had Sly Stallone as the Terminator instead of Arnold. So I thought that was actually pretty cool that they kind of gave each other props right there. But I always thought that Arnold was like the best one anyway. But it is kind of nice to hear Sly kind of admit that. Now, I will say that I think Sly was a better overall actor than Schwarzenegger. Like, Sly could do more than that, but I'll give the action to Schwarzenegger, and I'll give the overall acting to Sly. But y'all let me know, who did y'all ever have as like being the better action star or actor, however you want to do it? Did you have Sly or did you have Stallone? I mean, both have really impressive resumes. Like, these dudes was not playing. They had the 80s and the 90s in a straight up chokehold. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. All right, let's move. Oh, wait, no, we got a couple comments. Hold on, my homie Natalie, what's going on? Praise report. I love those. My department was scrapped, but I'm staying on with my company. Okay, all right. Long work week. I need Anthony Mackie news for a good laugh. EFAM. Okay. First of all, congratulations for staying on board. Layoffs and all that stuff is never good news. I don't have any good news for Anthony Mackie. Not yet. Not yet. I will say that because I can't give my reaction because it's embargoed for like another week or so. I have seen some of Twisted Metal for y'all, and I'll give my reaction to that when the time comes. That's all I can give you. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, and congratulations again. JN, thank you so much. Happy Father's Day. Happy Juneteenth. Always got to support JN. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciated. Thank you for supporting the channel like that. Really does mean a lot. All right, let's move on. Let's see. So we did Sly. So let's go to something else that was a little cringy. Now, I don't know about y'all, but Joseph Fiennes has I thought he's always been a pretty good actor, right? Like, this guy's in The Handmaid's Tale, and he's been like in a lot of other things that just, you might not recognize him all the time, but Joseph Fiennes has been a pretty solid actor overall. However, and I never knew if this was real. I never knew if it was real. I almost just like wanted to disregard it because it never made me I'm sorry. Let me get that off. It never made me think that it was real in any way. But there was a time that, basically Joseph Fiennes was talking about playing Michael Jackson in some sort of episode of a TV or something. I thought it was one of those troll type of moves on the internet. I thought it was fake news. I did not think this was real, but apparently it was real. And once people kind of like found out, that this thing was actually a thing. Look at this. Look at this. Y'all see this? That's Joseph right there. And that was Joseph dressed up as Michael Jackson. And I think the whole thing was about like some type of story about Michael Jackson, Elizabeth Taylor, Marlon Brando doing some sort of drive somewhere. I don't know if this is a true story or not, whatever. But either way, why? What is it? Why? Like, this is why I thought this was fake. I did not think this was real. And here's the thing. There was a lot of pushback and controversy at the time. Like, people was like, what the hell? Like, you kidding, right? This can't be life. Like, what are you doing? So, back when this happened, Fiennes actually defended this. Fiennes said about Michael Jackson, Michael definitely had an issue, a pigmentation issue, and that's something I do believe. He was probably closer to my color than his original color. So, like, I know this is a little complicated, right? Because obviously we know that Mike went from dark to light. We know that, right? And obviously there's also the issue of blackface. Now, is this blackface? I don't know if it's blackface. Is it whiteface? Like, I really don't know what to call this, because it's a white man impersonating a black man that had a skin condition. You know, it made my head hurt. Just one, like the caucasity. Like, you really, and you didn't think nothing about this? At no point did it ever cross your mind that maybe this ain't the role for you, like, at all? And this man literally like, well, he was my complexion. You know who else is that complexion? Black people. Did you know that there are black people that, you know, are albinos or just very, very light skinned that don't need to do? They could have taken the role. They could have done that, right? There are biracial people that could have also done that instead. Bro, come on now. Joseph, look at your face. Look at your face. You all white. Matter of fact, you needed makeup here. Stop it. Anyway, after years of this pushback, and again, I thought this whole thing was fake, but apparently they actually shot it. They actually did something with it. But apparently, Joseph finally saw the light and found out that this was actually wrong and a big bad mistake. Okay. So Joseph goes on to say, I think people are absolutely right to be upset, and it was a wrong decision. Absolutely. And I'm one part of that. There are producers, broadcasters, writers, directors, all involved in these decisions. But obviously, if I'm upfront, I have become the voice for other people. I would love them to be around the table as well to talk about it. But you know, it came at a time where there was a movement and a shift, and that was good. And it was, you know, a bad call, a bad mistake. Now, what is it? Sky TV or Sky Arts? Sky Arts, that was the studio. They pulled the episode before it broadcast. And the company said this in a statement. We have taken the decision not to broadcast Elizabeth, Michael, and Marlon, a half-hour episode from the Sky Arts Urban Myth series, in light of the concerns expressed by Michael Jackson's immediate family. I mean, duh. Like, why didn't y'all ask permission the first time? Like, why didn't first of all, y'all let this happen. Y'all literally went to the point where y'all said, we have a good idea. We're going to make a white guy, Michael Jackson. We're going to even put him in makeup. We're going to go book some dates, book some studio time, hire a whole production staff, hire some makeup artists, say lights, camera, action. We're going to even have some images, some footage, and everything. And then you decided to ask the family? That's the point where you said, we should, you know, maybe we should ask the family to see. Y'all, I bet y'all didn't even ask the family. I bet it wasn't until this got announced in the news that the family had to be like, oh, hell no. And then y'all was like, maybe we shouldn't do this. Are y'all serious? Y'all had the gall, the unmitigated gall, the audacity to just do it. Y'all really didn't think a white guy playing Michael Jackson was going to be an issue? Woo! Boy. Hollywood be living in straight up bubbles, I tell you. But anyway, what do y'all think? You know, look, better late than never, I guess. I mean, he finally saw the light. Whew, man. But y'all let me know. What do you think about this whole thing with Joseph Fiennes finally getting the picture that, you know, a white guy playing Michael Jackson ain't the move? Y'all let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let's see. We got Kiki. Thank you. Happy Juneteenth weekend. I'm still laughing at you saying, I don't care about your brother being sick. What's that got to do with Cybertron? I can't watch it now without hearing this. Listen, listen. I like the Transformers movie. I don't care. I don't care about them human problems. It's not my problem. It's not what I paid for. It's not what I paid. I paid for Bumblebee and Optimus Prime and the Decepticons to get busy. That's what is literally in the trailer. Okay, you got Transformers, Rise, the Beast or whatever. So I'm expecting Transformers and some Beasts to rise. Ain't nothing in there told me about some little boy that got sick and some boy that want to do something for his family. Nothing in the title at all. Whew. Kiki, thank you so much. I appreciate you always. I hope you had a good time watching the movie if you did. But thank you so much for that. I appreciate you. All right, let's move on. What's next? What is this? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's get the wait, no. Let's do where is this one? Yeah, we'll do this first. Okay. So y'all show Boba Fett that was on Disney Plus. Listen, we've covered this show, extensively, and we was there every step of the way, right? And we sat here, there was all this hype over the years about Boba Fett, and we was happy for the actor, Morrison coming back and all that. And my man was, getting busy with that whole little staff and everything. He was doing his thing in the desert with the sand people. And then all of a sudden, Boba Fett got Boba Fetted. And in case you don't know what Boba Fetted means, being Boba Fetted means having a show and having somebody else come in to your show and take over. And that's what happened with The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian, aka Din Djarin, came in out of nowhere, and we like, oh, this is great. We love Din. Din is great. Got Grogu and everything. It was all good until we couldn't find Boba Fett. We was like, what? Where's Boba Fett? Like, they literally gave Din a whole episode in this man's show, and Boba was nowhere to be found. And it was just like, what? I mean, I'm enjoying this, but I just don't understand what Boba Fett is in his own show. My man took a whole 2-3 episode break and let this become Mandalorian 2.5. It was a problem. It was crazy. So, rather than giving Boba his time to shine, which I think he absolutely deserved in his own show, they decided to pull that little, move or whatever. And I don't know why. It's not like the Mandalorian needed help. It's not like you needed to give the Mandalorian any more of a boost. Now, it's fine to bring him in to kind of sprinkle him in a little to give Boba Fett a boost, but y'all literally let this man hijack the show. But anyway, the question comes in, what's going to happen with season 2? Is there even going to be a season 2 for Boba Fett? And it seems like we do have an update about the future for Boba Fett. And right now, it ain't looking good. That's right. Boba Fett season 2 is reportedly not happening at all. My man is about to chill in that Bacta tank for a long time. It looks like a new report alleges Lucasfilms has no plans to begin production on the Book of Boba Fett season 2. Now, this comes from, some insiders. Take it with a grain of salt. Not really sure how confident I am in it, but, I get it too. Says here from one of the insiders, but I did get more hits on the Boba Fett thing. So I think Boba Fett is in for The Mandalorian season 4, but I don't think there's another show. Well, I can't say that I am not surprised whatsoever. Because like the show was not doing very well, even though they brought in the steroid of Mandalorian, like it just didn't, it wasn't all that great. It kind of fell flat, and it was too many. It was too short of episodes. The story just wasn't all that compelling. I mean, I thought it had some promise in the first 2-3 episodes, but then it just went downhill. So yeah, it's looking like we ain't gonna get a season 2. But yeah, I don't think it's the end of Boba Fett. Again, having Boba show up in Mandalorian season 4, that's fine. That works. I'm wondering, should Boba get a whole episode on to himself? Y'all gonna pass that favor to Boba? Let Boba take over one episode? Because clearly after season 3, Mando's show ain't even Mando's no more. That was a old girl show. Like, she took over, instead. So I don't even know what they doing anymore. They might as well just call it the Mandalorians with an S, and that'll probably be a lot better than just saying the Mandalorian, and we don't know which Mandalorian we talking about half of the time. But anyway, y'all let me know, how do you feel about this potential news that we're not getting a season 2 for Boba Fett? Does it hurt? Are you happy? Do you not care? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. All right. Let's see. Samuel, what you got? I just got married on Loving Day 6/12. Oh, nice. At Hug Point. Congratulations. Congratulations to you. And I hope you and your partner do some wonderful things together and enjoy your life together. Thank you so much for sharing that info. Let's see. All right, let's move on. Yeah, we could do this. So I've told y'all, listen, there are a lot of things that we're going to get delayed. A lot of it has to do with the writer's strike. And that is definitely going to be a huge thing going forward, because I tried to warn y'all early that the writer's strike is definitely going to have an impact, not just on in Hollywood, but like for us as well. And what that can translate to is poor quality writing in certain shows. So let's say you a fan of Yellow Jackets or something, like Cobra Kai or whatever. If they bring in some replacement writers, those endings might turn out very boo-boo. They might turn out very bad. But not only will you have the potential of bad writing, messing up your certain TV shows, you also are going to have the issue of movies that you're looking forward to getting delayed. And that's not cool either. No one really wants that to happen. But we do have a couple things that are being affected right now. So right now, once again, and we talked about this before, Daredevil Born Again shuts down production for the day amid the WGA strike. And this is the second time that it's actually happened. We talked about this about a week or two ago. Basically, the writers they picketed, and it's preventing, some of the cast and crew in the production. They don't want to cross that picket line. They're respecting them. So they're just like, nah, we ain't gonna do it. And guess what? That's costing the studio money. They still have to pay the production folks. They still have to pay, whatever lots or settings that they're shooting at. So every day that's wasted is a lot of money that hurts the studios in that regard. So as I've said, this is probably the strongest tactic that the writers can take, just because, even though the studios have basically tried to threaten that they can use AI or that they can just go outsource to other, maybe foreign countries or whatever to get replacement writers. The best thing that can happen right now in favor of the writers is stopping or halting production. But moving on, there are a ton of things that have just been delayed and had schedule shifts. And a lot of that stuff has to do with Star Wars, Avatar, and even Marvel movies. So let's kind of go through a couple of them right now. Moana's coming out June 27, 2025. I don't think y'all cared about that too much. But Deadpool, now this is probably the only good news I've seen. Deadpool is actually being moved up from November 2024 to May 3rd, 2024. Now that is actually pretty promising, because I've told y'all this before that I'm not very confident in what's going to happen with the upcoming Marvel movies. Now, we've talked about how the uh Phase 4 has been very mid. Phase 4 has been very mid for Marvel. And I thought a lot of that. And we also read this report. We talked about it last week, which confirmed a lot of my theories, which was, or suspicions, which was that Marvel was spread thin. Marvel was really trying to do too much too fast with little to no quality control. Kevin Feige was not around to really, like, polish everything up. He was giving his duties to different producers who might not have the same level of insight or experience that he has, right? So because of that, we started seeing bad quality. We started seeing a lot of shows or movies that would spend more time trying to hype up the next thing rather than focusing on making the story they had at hand actually work. Now, I do believe that the Marvels is going to struggle. The reason why I believe that is because it was still kind of made in the era of when Phase 4 was basically thin on quality control. Now, a positive for Marvel is the fact that they have adjusted. Marvel is not perfect, and I'll be the first to admit that. When Marvel makes a mistake, the one thing that you notice over time is that they do adjust and they change and they're very flexible. And I appreciate that rather than trying to force the same thing to happen, like trying to force a certain universe to keep going, even if it doesn't work, and even if audiences don't respond well, and even if you underperform and such. But Marvel has definitely adapted in that, but Deadpool is one of those movies that I do believe is probably going to break that curse, break that trend of being actually its own thing and not being victim to the lack of quality control that was happening before. So I am very optimistic about that. That the movies that come after that are possibly going to be under better supervision. But I think that I think Ryan Reynolds, I could trust him a little bit more with Deadpool, because he knows this character inside and out. He's doing a lot of the writing as well. I don't think he needs as much hand holding, and because of that, I think he'll be fine. But let's see, we got some more things. Then you also have Star Wars. You have a Star Wars movie coming out December of 2026. Avatar. Now, this is the big one. Avatar is going to be shifting from December 2025 to now December 2020. I'm sorry. It's Avatar 3 has now shifted to December 2025. Avatar 4 is coming out December 2029, and Avatar 5 is coming out 2031. Yikes. Golly, I'm gonna be like 50 years old or something. Like, geez, man, these Avatar movies finna be, they are just gonna be doing the most for the longest. But hey, I mean, they're making the money. These movies come out and they make $2 billion something dollars. Everybody goes to watch them. And who gonna tell James Cameron anything? I'm not. The studio's definitely not. Anywho, Captain America: Brave New World, terrible title, is moving from May 3rd. Now it's being pushed back to July 2026. July 26, 2024. That is also going to push the Thunderbolts as well to 2024. And the bad news here, Blade is being pushed to February 14th, 2025. Now, I have many videos talking about the woes that I have with the Blade production. I like how they now putting that on not only Valentine's Day, but y'all putting Blade on Black History Month. Now, I feel like if y'all gonna do this during Black History Month, and here's the thing, Here's the thing. Black Panther also came out during Black History Month. It came out in February, and that was great. But February is not really known to be the best time to release big blockbuster movies. So I'm hoping that Marvel does a couple of things. I'm hoping that Marvel really emphasizes the marketing for this. I really hope so. And because of all these production delays, I mean, let's not be godly. Mahershala Ali was announced. He was announced in 2019 to be Blade. My man only got a quick voiceover. Now, he was supposed to be in phase 5. I give Marvel credit for that. But this thing has been delayed multiple times. Y'all had a boo-boo writer. Y'all had a boo-boo script. Y'all let that sit because of lack of quality control. Y'all director dropped out right before production, which means you have to get another director. Okay, you got another director. You hired a couple new actors, or whatever. So that was cool. And then you went and got a better writer from True Detective that Mahershala actually likes. Okay. But then the writer strike happened. I get it. Out of your control. But you know what is in your control? The fact that you moved this to 2025, the fact that you moved this, almost like 2 years after it was supposed to be announced, and 6 years after y'all announced that y'all even had a Blade. Mahershala, first of all, is going to be like 55 by the time this movie comes out. Like, I know black don't crack, but it's like, don't play with this man. Don't play with this man in all this time, okay? But the one thing I need from Marvel, y'all better put some effort into this. Y'all better put some effort into I need Kevin Feige. I need all hands on deck, making sure that Blade is going to be one of the best movies. I need y'all to put some Fantastic Four energy into Blade, because I've told y'all, I don't know why Marvel loves Fantastic Four for whatever reason. They've always been boring to me. They've never been like one of the pinnacle, things, but that's old school comic heads that love Fantastic Four, and that's fine for them. I'm just talking about for me, they ain't really been it for me, okay? But Blade, as I've told y'all, and I will always remind y'all, Blade is the single reason. Forget Robert Downey Jr., forget Iron Man. It was Blade that made sure y'all even had an MCU in the first place. So I just need y'all to put that energy into Blade and make it work. Make it work. You got time. I don't want no excuses. None. I have to get that out because every time I hear this bad news with Blade, it gets on my nerves. It gets on my nerves because a lot of these things I feel like just don't happen with other things that they really want to happen. What else we got? Fantastic Four moved over to May 2025. Avengers Kang Dynasty. Now remember, Kang Dynasty and Secret War, they were supposed to come out almost back to back, like real close to each other. I think, if I'm not mistaken, almost in the same year, or it was within a year, I want to say. But Kang Dynasty is getting pushed back a whole year from May 2nd, 2025. Now it's coming back May 2026, and Avengers Secret Wars is going from May 1st, 2026 to now May 7th, 2027. Then we got some Star Wars stuff coming. The movie's been pushed from December 19th, 2025 to now May 2026. You got another Star Wars movie that is set for December 17th, 2027. All I know is I feel like that's just straight cap, because when have I've heard about Star Wars movies coming since forever, and every single time don't nothing happen, don't nothing come forward. Kathleen Kennedy says, hey, we got this person, we got this person, we got that person. Have y'all seen, when was the last time y'all saw a Star Wars movie? It was like 6-7 years ago, something like that. Like, I ain't seen not one movie. So y'all can say that it's coming out until I see a trailer. I don't believe it. I need to see tickets on sale before I believe that. Now we got a new Alien movie that's going to be produced by Ridley Scott and directed by Fede Alvarez. That is going to open August 2024. It says here that the ongoing writer strike is part of the reason behind the total overhaul of the release plan. Disney recently paused filming on Blade and Thunderbolts, which led to a ripple effect on the rest of the interconnected MCU. The Avatar, the space between the sequels. The good news here is that it's going to allow the post production and visual effects department to continue expanding. So I'm good with all of that, right? Because the one thing that we know, and I think we've learned this at least from Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, it takes time for quality. And if you need more time, I will be happy to wait until it comes out and everything is fine on that regard. So, yeah, Avatar is going to be a while, but you know what? The number one thing that Avatar is known for is the visuals. And if giving it more time helps them polish the visuals even more, I'm with that. You still going to make your 2 billion. So, I'm with that. Anyway, that's it for all the delays that we have so far. Are there any delays that you like, that you don't like? Does this kind of give you a little hope that maybe they'll be able to fix some things? Are you discouraged because, like, dang, like we just not gonna get nothing, in the meantime? Y'all let me know, how do you feel about these announcements in the comments down below. Looks like we got a couple of comments. Let me grab these. Famous J, hey, E-Man and E-Fan, back to Fridays. Instead of Boba Fett, we got Mandalorian 2.5 with Boba Monk. Ruin the character. Yes, unfortunately, that is the case. And yeah, Boba did not get enough time to shine, and it's just really sad. It's really, really sad. I believe that the character deserved better. And there was some room for potential, but they wasted it. They wasted it. But thank you so much, Famous Jay. I really appreciate that. Thank you for that generous donation. Dion, my man, what's going on? Let's see. Good evening, E-Fam. I hate to hear there won't be a season 2 of Boba Fett. I was looking forward to finding out where it was going to go. You and me both. Like, I was still curious. Even though I was discouraged with like how they ended it, I still was wondering, like, okay, well, what's next for Boba? Like, he's running a city. Is there going to be a new threat? Is there going to be a new thing that he's going to get involved in? Like, what's the deal? But it seems like they're just going to use him as a supporting character moving on. My best guess is that he's probably going to have him and his little Power Rangers and all them, Black Chewbacca, think they're just going to have them come through, maybe help the Mandalorians restore Mandalore or something at most. I think that'll probably be the most that they do with it, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But thank you so much for that. Let's see. Sam, what you got? What up, though, E-Man? Is there a reason Avatar is blacked out on Max and not Disney? Oh, that's a good question. Let's see. Also, if you love From, check out Manifest if you haven't already. Thank you so much for that. My wife and my daughter actually watch Manifest. I have not watched it. It's so hard for me to like watch shows because I'm either watching shows that are coming up or I'm trying to play catch up. It's like 50 million different shows. And a lot of a lot of those shows, they stay on my watch list. Like, I'll probably watch it in 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, just I'll get around to it. But thank you for that. I've heard it's actually pretty good. Avatar blacked out on Max. Well, Disney owns Avatar. Like, they bought Fox, so that would make sense that they wouldn't be on Max. So that would be my only guess. I didn't even know that they were on Max at all. But yeah, Disney's the one that owns them, so that makes more sense. But thank you so much for that. My man Nelson V, Blade is rated R. Kids won't be able to see it. I don't know if that's confirmed yet, if it is going to be rated R. I think they still are leaning for it to be PG-13, which I think is whack. But either way, dropping it in February is still going to be kind of whack to me. Like I said, it's going to be cold during February. People ain't going out like that. It's still school time anyway. But the one positive of dropping in February is there might not be a lot of good competition against it. So maybe Blade can withstand that. And if they make it very good, people will show up, so we'll see. Thank you so much, Nelson. I appreciate you. Let's see. Puma, what you got? What's up, man? Yes, it's Freaky Friday, and just watch the Flash. It's not even close to being better than Across the Spider Verse. Miles rules, bro. I could have told you that. It's not. It's not even a competition. Like it's not. It's not even fair to put that in the conversation. I mean, listen, Flash. Like I said, it's good for a DC movie. To me, Flash is on Black Adam level, um, maybe Suicide Squad level. Like, it's all right, depending on who you talk to. Um, but I'm very curious to see how it goes with now that audiences can go see it. I'm very curious to see where they go with it or how people react to it. Um, because you have this interesting dynamic going on where the studio heads hyped it up, and because they hyped it up talking about, oh, it's the greatest superhero movie or one of the greatest, well, critics and the other people that got to see it early, we watching this like, what? No, it's not. Like, I mean, it's okay, but it's not one of the greatest ever. Like, no. And then now, because you're hearing a lot of people say it's not as good as they say, I guarantee you're going to have a lot of people saying, oh, well, this is actually a lot better. Because for whatever reason, and this is just weird, for whatever reason, people like have this thing where they have to, I guess, prove other people wrong. I don't know if that's an ego thing. I don't know if that's a psychological thing or something. But if somebody says, this is so great, this is so wonderful, people go in there and they be like, nah, it ain't that good. But if people say, like, man, this movie's trash, it's so bad, people want to say, like, well, it wasn't that bad. I don't get it. I'm not a psychologist. I don't get it. I'm just saying this is just what I see from a lot of people from looking at social media for years and being in this film space. Like, people just, I don't know, there are people that are just, not everybody, of course, but there are just some people that are like dedicated to just being contrarian sometimes. But we'll see how it goes. But I do agree that Spider-Verse has been far superior. And that's it. Frigga's Bell, evening, E-Man, here's a band, etc. Thank you so much, Frigga. I appreciate you for all the bands as possible. Thank you so much for that. Let's see, Rabia, thank you so much for the contribution as well. Appreciate you. Let's see, Puma, I'm trying to go quick here. They better put some respect on Blade. They have enough time to get it right. Star Wars better have some color in space. Lando and others, we can wait. Yes, I totally agree with all of that. That is something that they need to work on for a while now, and we'll see if they can get that right. We'll see. Thank you so much, Larry. Thank you so much. What up, E-Man? Saw the Flash and loved it. Okay, good for you. I'm happy for you. How's your loss experience going? I'm curious what you're up to. Remember to heed my words. It's amazing. So listen, I watch Lost in the background. It's not something I sit there and watch dedicated every day. I'm on episode like 13, I think 13, 14. So it's going, it's going. I can't say it's all that encouraging. I'm gonna be honest, it's very intimidating knowing that every season got like 27 million episodes and I gotta sit through each one of them. And unfortunately, the way I'm watching on like Freeverse or something. I still gotta watch commercials. So I can't, like, it'd be different if they took the commercials out. I can get through them a little faster, or even if there was a way I could watch them in, 2x speed or something. I can't do none of that. So, it's a chore. It's a chore. But I'm not watching Lost for the pleasure of watching Lost. I'm watching Lost to see how it compares to From, because a lot of people were saying there were comparisons. So that's where I've been going with it. But so far it's okay. It's cool. Nothing too crazy. But thank you so much, Larry. I appreciate you. All right, let's move on. Now, last week we had a situation where Namor, Tenoch Huerta. Thank you for the correction. I didn't know I was saying his name wrong. But Tenoch Huerta was accused of sexual assault, and when I was reporting this last week, He actually gave his response. This was like a day after, so obviously I didn't get it, but I did want to post this and talk about it, in fairness to him as well. But he was accused of being a sexual predator and sexual assault by Maria Rios, who is a popular Mexican saxophonist. And yeah, she was going out. She was putting that man on blast, all on the social media, on Twitter and everything. She even went on to basically say that she wasn't the only one, that there are other victims out there as well. So basically, Tenoch came out and said that, or Tenoch came out and said that that these are all false and unsubstantiated. And he says here, about a year ago, I dated Elena for oh, is her name Elena? Oh, my bad. I thought I got her name wrong. But yes, about a year ago, I dated Elena for several months. It was entirely consensual at all times, as countless others can attest. And throughout it, it was a loving, warm, and mutually supportive relationship. After it ended, however, Elena began to misrepresent our interactions, both privately and in front of groups of mutual friends. As a result, a few months ago, I engaged a legal team to commence the appropriate actions to protect my reputation and refute these irresponsible and false accusations that can cause great prejudice and damage. Although I am by no means perfect, I know that these allegations are simply untrue. And while I will always work to improve myself, I need to contest claims that are both false and offensive. He goes on to say, I am deeply grateful to my family and the people who have supported me, and greatly appreciate everyone who is willing to look at the facts and reflect before rushing to an untrue and unjust conclusion. Now, of course, why this is relevant is because we're concerned about whether or not he's going to be, part of Marvel moving forward. Representative for Marvel has not responded for response yet. So, listen, a lot of this sounds par for the course. I'm not gonna lie, my man's response sounded like a pretty much cut and paste copy, textbook response. As I've also said, I'm not saying that he's guilty. I'm not saying that he's innocent, because I don't have any of the facts. I do agree with him that people should be willing to look for the facts before rushing to judgment. So I'm not throwing them away. I'm not keeping them either. I'm like, okay, like let's get with it. If there's evidence, let's get to it, and then we can rush and make a decision after that. But Marvel is not saying anything right now, and I think that's also smart. Why would they? Like, you don't have anything that you need to say, because there is no real information right now. But we will have to wait and see when that happens, and then if he's guilty, I mean, yo, bro, it was nice knowing you. Thanks for the memories, but gotta go. If he's innocent, hey, okay, cool. Let's keep it moving. And let justice prevail. So anyway, what do y'all think about this whole Tenoch Huerta situation? What do you think about his response? Do you think it was an appropriate response? Do you think it was, do you, I don't know, maybe y'all don't believe it. But y'all let me know what you think in the comments down below. All right. I got my man Dion. What's up? Speaking of from, I heard the convention is happening in Nashville, Texas next year, June. When I find out more information, I'll share it. Thank you so much for that. I just heard about a little bit more about that as well. But yeah, no, that sounds like it'll be definitely interesting for those participating. All right, next up, we got some Spider-Verse updates. As I've told y'all before, I think Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, is probably the best Spider-Man movie that has come out. Matter of fact, I did this. I joined up my man Brandon K. Avery and Elliot from the Movie Files. Both of their channels are in my favorite channel list, so y'all make sure to go subscribe if you haven't already. But we, due to y'all demand, from the people's mouths, okay, to our ears, basically we went ahead and we did a whole spoiler review for it, and we talked about it on Just My Opinion Review. So y'all go ahead, head over to my man's channel, go check that out. for that spoiler review. I believe we still got a Flash review that we're gonna have to do. That's gonna be something. Um, so we'll definitely come together and do that as well. But I've said that. Oh, matter of fact, I'll make this correction here too. I in my spoiler-free review, I had said that one of my issues was I couldn't understand Hobie, or Spider Punk, and I didn't know if that was Daniel Kaluuya. I didn't know if that was like the sound, the audio. So I kind of, just nicked it just a little bit. I nicked the movie just a little bit, but it was reported, at least Lord and Miller came out and talked about how there was a technical issue, but that was more so with the theaters. Like they just didn't have the proper sound settings set up. So, because that is not the fault of the actual movie, for me, I'm going to actually upgrade my rating for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. At first, I had it at a 9 out of 10. I'm gonna go ahead and bump that up to 9.5 out of 10. So, obviously, I can't go do it in the movie or anything. I'm gonna go update it on the movie blog. But just so y'all know, that movie for me is a 9.5 out of 10. It was fantastic, superior, superb. And I do believe that it should be in the running for Best Picture. Like this is one of those times where like a movie, just because it's animated, it should not be discriminated against, because it was that damn good of a film. So had a really, really good time about that. But one of the updates that we have, in case y'all haven't heard, like ever since the pandemic happened and streaming became more of a thing, we started to see the release window shrink. And what that is basically the time when a movie goes into theaters all the way until it goes to home release or home video or whatever. Now, in the past, it used to be 90 days, where we would have to wait until that time, which is great, right? Because you had time to sit there, chill, relax. You didn't have to feel pressure to go see the movie quickly in the theaters. You can go see it this month, next month, whatever. And the pandemic basically, I guess because they still had to do streaming, they cut that in half. So now it's about 45 days in order for a movie to be in theaters before it hits streaming. We've recently seen some movies be kind of embarrassed. Like Shazam 2, I believe, was only out there for 4 weeks. It was only out there for 4 weeks until it went straight. It didn't even make the 45 days. It hit 30 days and it was out of here. Then the more recent news, Fast X. Fast X only made it for 3 weeks, 21 days. That's 1.5 paychecks. You couldn't even get your second paycheck before you can go see Fast X on digital release. Yikes. So there was some rumors going around and there was some talk going around that Across the Spider-Verse was going to drop somewhere like in the next week or two or something like that. And thankfully, we actually got the real update about that, because clearly this movie is making money. Matter of fact, I think in just the limited amount of time it's had now, it's made, I want to say, about 400 million or so. And it's made that money that the first movie, Into the Spider-Verse, made in a shorter amount of time. So clearly it's on track to keep on earning more money. And it would just be foolish if Sony were to put that on VOD, on streaming this early. Now, don't get me wrong, I would love to get this on streaming because there's so much stuff in that movie that's going on, all the different Spider-Man, all the stuff that's happening that they throw at you. I want to go back. I want to rewind. I want to stop, pause, do slow motion. I want to see all of that. So I really can't wait for it to go virtual. But we do have an update, and that's from Chris Miller, one of the producers from Lord and Miller, who gave us an update and basically said that, like, look, he debunked the reports that Across the Spider-Verse will release digitally on July 18th and said that it's August that will be the earliest the film releases instead. So that to me is a fantastic sign. I'm very, very happy to hear that they are going to keep that until August. That gives the movie a lot of wiggle room to basically do some work in the theaters, continue to, amaze and dazzle fans and so on and so forth. So shout out to Across the Spider-Verse for that. But we do have one more update here. And this kind of sort of leaned into one of the other things that I had an issue with Across the Spider-Verse. Again, incredibly minor, nothing that like deteriorates or destroys the movie at all, but it was more of a preferential, maybe creative difference of opinion that I had, and that was the inclusion of Gwen Stacy. It wasn't the fact that I didn't like Gwen Stacy. It's not that I don't want to see Gwen Stacy. I actually really like her character. And I really like her story. As a matter of fact, as I've been saying, I want to see more. And it was announced that we're going to get a standalone Gwen Stacy movie, which I'm here for. That is wonderful, right? But my biggest concern, and I've said this before, that one of my issues was that having a Miles movie can be problematic if you keep giving Miles a crutch. Like if Miles has to keep having the original Spider-Man there or a team of other Spider-Man, I felt like it kind of takes some of the light away from Miles and not allow him to actually carry the movie on his own merit. And for me, it was always a question of like, if you keep giving us more Gwen Stacy, then that kind of takes away from Miles. And at the same time, if you're giving us more Gwen Stacy but not enough, well, then that doesn't do very much justice for Gwen Stacy because she deserves to have a lot more shine too. So for me, I was kind of like, yo, like maybe we could have had like a 90-10 split, like instead maybe reference and hint at the certain things going on with Gwen, and that would be a great tease for the actual movie when she has her own spinoff, rather than taking more time completely away from Miles. Like she's not even sharing the screen with Miles and focusing it on her. That was where I was kind of like, yeah, this is a little too heavy handed. I see some of y'all saying it was about 70-30 in terms of the split. Yeah, to me, I thought that was a little too much. Like 70-30 is not. Here's the thing, she's not even a co-star. Like if y'all wanted to make her a co-star, okay, do 50-50, but 70-30 is kind of like weird. Like it should have been like 90-10. But either way, Beyond the Spider-Verse, as we know, and I'm not giving any spoilers away to anyone who hasn't seen Across the Spider-Verse yet, but Beyond the Spider-Verse, obviously, we know what's been teased if you've seen the end of the movie. But this one thing does kind of add on to my concern that I just expressed, and that is apparently Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse will have multiple Gwen Stacy's, multiple. Phil Lord, the other producer, says here, Phil Lord and Chris Miller were asked if we'll see any other Gwen Stacy's in the upcoming sequel. And Lord said, currently, yes. I would say that, yes, it's on the page. I think that these things evolve as they go. So for the time being, right now, we are going to be getting multiple Gwen Stacy's. And once again, this is kind of what I was saying. Like, if it's just like a quick little flash, a quick little thing, okay, that's cool. But I'm like, look, like, just you don't have to show us everything about Gwen, especially if you're gonna give us a standalone movie. Like, just let Miles rock. Y'all held his hand and y'all gave him a whole crutch with like 50 different Spider-Man in the first movie. Okay, that was an introduction. The second movie, this really should have been him standing on his own 2 feet. But now you're bringing in Gwen and you're trying to push it down a little bit more. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's needed. Again, I'm not saying take her out. I'm not saying that she shouldn't be there at all. I just don't think that you need this much of an emphasis on her, especially if the main primary focus is going to be on Miles. But anyway, like I said, super minor, grievance, super minor issue. This is not something that's going to make me it's not going to prevent me from watching the movie. It's not going to prevent me from enjoying the movie. I'm not gonna go all Dr. Umar, on this at all. But I just, it was just something that kind of stood out to me, and I wanted to express it. But anyway, y'all let me know, how do you feel about the idea of adding more Gwen Stacy in the Beyond the Spider-Verse movie. Y'all let me know, does this seem like a good idea? Are you excited for more Gwen Stacy? Do you feel as though it is something that is needed? Either way, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Right, let's move on. I got a couple things here. All right. Okay, let me grab these here. 60 plus. Thank you, Dynamic Trio. You are very, very welcome. I know you did make the request for the spoiler review. We got you covered. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let's see. Nelson, what do you think of the new MCU hero title screen? I don't know what it is. I'm sorry. Yeah, I have no idea what the hero title screen is, so I can't give you my opinion on that. I'm sorry. Where can I find it? Where is it at? Is it like on Disney Plus or where? Let me know where I can find that. Puma, just noticed your shirt explained Spider-Man #1. Thank you so much. Yes, I did explain it a little bit earlier in the video. But thank you again for that, Puma. I appreciate y'all. Disney Plus, is it? Okay, cool. Gotcha. All right, so let us move forward. Spider-Verse updates. Yep, got that. Okay, so let's do a Thor 5 update. Now, I don't think anyone will disagree that, or at least let's just say most people will agree. Thor 4 was boo-boo. Like, it was just not, it didn't do it, right? It flopped in the theaters. Just was not a good movie. Last week, we talked about how Chris Hemsworth himself finally came to the realization and admitted that it was just far too silly. And, while he had said that, the movie just was not something that he realized how problematic it was because he was too close to the situation. And that makes sense. That totally makes sense. It happens. Sometimes you got to step outside yourself, step outside that silo for you to finally understand, maybe this wasn't it. Okay. Well, looks like that he actually has some more additional comments about Thor 5 and the possibility of a Thor 5. And so he goes ahead in this interview and talks about what he's looking for in another Thor movie. And he says, I've got to be careful how I word that because I have no idea what's happening in the next phase. There's always conversations before anything is official. People are throwing around ideas, but officially, I don't know about a Thor 5. That's what he was talking about. He also goes on to say, I don't want to continue to do it until people are so exhausted that they roll their eyes when they see me come on screen as that character. If an audience wants to see it, and if there's something that we believe is exciting and fun, then great. I've loved being able to reinvent that character a few times. I don't have the answer yet, but I would love to try and figure out how we can do that again and keep it a little unpredictable. So basically, my man wants to make Thor unpredictable and different. I think that at this point, if he does want to do something with Thor, it wouldn't hurt to just make him serious and just have bigger stakes for him personally, right? Because when it comes to Thor, they already dropped the ball when it came to him and Gore the God Butcher. They already dropped the ball there. That could have been one of his best stories, but they messed that up. So I think that if you're going to do another Thor story, you're going to have to do something that makes a little bit more sense. And it's a little bit more personal to the growth of the character in some way. Now, one thing that I've noticed, at least with Thor, is that, when he started off, when you look at the first Thor 1, Thor 2, whatever, he was trying to be a king and replace Odin because that's what everybody else wanted for him. And then once Odin died in Thor Ragnarok, he became that king, but he started to realize, like, yo, this is not my dream. This is not what I was trying to be. I'm not ready for this. And that's why he left, at the end of Endgame to go rediscover himself, yada, yada, yada. And then Thor 4, I don't even know what the hell he was trying to do in Thor 4. I don't know. Whatever. But I would love for him to finally like discover himself. And not only that, maybe start to realize like, yeah, maybe I do need to be the king of Asgard. And maybe this is what it takes. Let me go on a personal journey of exploration that's not full of screaming goats, but something that actually makes sense, where maybe he, just like Odin in Norse mythology, Odin went out on some quest, had to give up his eye, and that's how he became so wise and all this other stuff. Maybe you do the same thing for Thor, and maybe we can even get into how we got a Rune King Thor, for some of y'all that know about him in the comics. So, I think that there is still room to explore the character. I think that there is still room to take the character to a different level. But you just, I don't think he needs to be comedic anymore. Like like it really doesn't. To me, it never even made sense that after the events of Thor Ragnarok, after the events of Infinity War, where he didn't go for the head and where he basically let all these people get snapped away, I thought that Thor could have cut the comedy out at that point, because I'm not saying, yes, we saw him go through that era of depression, but at the same time, I'm like, that should have been a time where Thor actually matured. That should have been a time when he actually grew up and like actually realized, like, okay, I can't be out here being reckless no more. You know what I'm saying? I have to take things seriously and be a better king than Odin was. Be a better king than people expect. But anyway, that's my thoughts. I'm with him on the fact that, like, yeah, we got to do something unpredictable. Just keep the goats out of it. We don't need no more goats. But y'all let me know, how do you feel about another Thor movie? Do y'all even think we need a Thor movie? Maybe it's not even Thor at all. Maybe Thor just happens to show up in another story and it's about something else. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments down below. All right. Let's go here. Let's see. I try to tell my nephew, thank you, Frigg's Bigger Bell. Frigg's Bigger Bell. I like that. Try to tell my nephew he didn't listen. See, they never do. They never do listen, but it is what it is. Thank you so much, Frigga. I appreciate you. Oh, you know what? And that also reminded me, like, Thor has a daughter now. So I guess maybe that's another place that they can explore. What's Thor like as a dad? Personally, I'm not a big fan of that angle for Thor. I mean, Thor still needs to grow up by himself. Like, just trying to have responsibility of a kid, seems like a little bit much, but whatever. Puma, I want a Marvel versus Capcom movie, anime or live now. Yeah, I don't think that's ever gonna happen. Yeah, that's, you got two different companies, two different negotiations. I wouldn't hold my breath for it. I won't say never. I'll take that back. I won't say never, but I wouldn't hold my breath for that at all. Let's see. Nelson, thank you so much. What you do with love. Is that the name of the next one? What you do with love? Is that the name of the next Thor movie that you're thinking? Let me know what you think there. Let's see. Oh, I answered your question. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right, let's move on to Secret Invasion. Oh, I didn't even make nothing for it. Hold on. Let's okay. So let me give y'all a little bit my quick reaction for Secret Invasion. So I have, if in case you haven't seen it, I did post, and y'all should be following me. Right there, yeah, right there. Follow me on the Instagrams, on the Twitters and all that stuff. But I did share my thoughts on the first two episodes of Secret Invasion, and yes, we will be covering that when it comes out. We'll be going live. I don't know exactly what day it comes out. I think it's on Wednesdays. If somebody can get that information, I think it's going to be every Wednesday So, we'll either go live every Wednesday night or we'll go live that next Thursday to kind of give everyone time to watch. And then we'll break it down. We'll talk about it, react to it. But yeah, just my because I know reviews are out and everything, and I don't really want to review it per se. I mean, I review it with y'all during our, when we watch it together. So we'll review it at that point. But my first reaction, just to kind of give y'all a taste, it does absolutely capture the tone and the vibe of Winter Soldier. I mean, I think there might have been three jokes, like three little type of jokes in the whole thing that I've seen so far. So the tone is definitely there. The first episode, I'm not gonna lie, starts off good, right? Pure spy espionage-esque stuff. The middle is a little long, it's a little dry. All right, it's a little dry. Then the end of the first episode, that's where they pick it up. So they do end there by taking a big risk. There are going to be certain things I think people are definitely going to be talking about. So, watch out for spoilers when that comes out. But yeah, it's definitely a slower paced show. So do not go into this thinking we got to get action every 5-10 minutes. It's not going to happen that way. This is a spy espionage show. Yes, you're going to have some car chases here or there. Yes, you're going to have some spy stuff happening here or there. But this is a story about not being able to trust, about paranoia, potential government conspiracies. Maybe there is one, maybe there isn't. So do not go in here expecting high octane action. If that's what you're looking for, you will be disappointed. This is a slow burn type of show right now, at least from what I've seen. It's very slow burn, very heavy on the dialogue. Matter of fact, episode 2, I think, has probably definitely something we're all going to talk about. Now, we've seen this in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler, but the conversation between Nick Fury and Rhodey, that's gonna be interesting. Listen, we gonna talk about that one, okay? That conversation that these two guys have is gonna be something that we are going to talk. A lot of people gonna talk. Listen, some people gonna feel some type of way about Nick Fury. Some people gonna feel some type of way about Rhodey, because that conversation that they have, it does reveal a lot about their characters. Okay. I'm not going to blow this up as, oh, this is a big MCU thing. I'm just saying it reveals a lot about their characters. So that's going to be very interesting. And then, of course, they do have some nice little, listen, we're dealing with Skrulls. You don't know who's a Skrull. You don't know who's not. So obviously that is going to be a factor in this show. And, that is going to be something else that episode 2 will play around with. So again, there are some emotional things going on. There's some like devious stuff going on. And I'll leave it there because I don't want to spoil nothing. I do have some interviews, by the way, that you guys don't want to miss. I was able to talk to the director of Secret Wars, so I was able to, he gave me some good information, I think, from there. And I think he also is going to address a lot of the concerns that some of y'all might have had, which is like, yo, Secret Wars is like this big thing in the comics, but y'all only doing 6 episodes. So he talks about that. Actually I had some really good time with him. Y'all will see it. I'll post that probably tomorrow. And then I also got a chance to interview Kingsley Benadir, who plays Gravik, basically the bad guy in this thing too. And that was also a good interview. Unfortunately, he does talk about little spoilers, so I'm gonna have to share his interview after the episode drops because I don't want that spoiled for y'all. So I'll drop both of those during the week. But the latest thing that a lot of people have been talking about, and in case y'all, again, make sure y'all are following me. Sometimes they do these virtual press conferences where we do get interviews with the cast and they get to, just share their thoughts. I've posted a lot of that on my Twitter, so y'all can go follow that. But there was another interview that just recently happened, and that was with Sam Jackson. And my man had some thoughts. He had some questions about something that I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all have been wondering about too. And that was, how the hell is Nick Fury not in Wakanda? Because Sam Jackson wants to know, when's he going to be able to go to Wakanda and everywhere else? Like, this has been a long-standing question, right? Now, here's the thing. I'm not even going to do that that article because, in case y'all forgot, I talked to Sam Jackson a long time ago, right? I talked to Sam Jackson, and when I did, I brought this thing up to him too. This was 2 years ago. Okay, so keep in mind this was before Recast T'Challa started, but it was after Chadwick passed away. Just to kind of give you some context here, right? And I got a clip from my interview, and you're more than welcome to go check out the full interview because they talk about some more stuff there. But I do have a clip here, and we're gonna go ahead and play that. So let's get ready for that. Okay. Let's get that up there. Right. So this is me talking with Sam Jackson and his wife. And we were doing this interview for about one of their other documentaries or whatever called Enslaved. But I did throw this little tidbit in there just because I needed to know. But his answer, was out there already. But here we go. Really appreciate it. And it's about time Nick Fury needs to go to Wakanda. Just saying.
I told him that, a long time ago. I was like, how in the world can there be a place like Wakanda and Nick Fury is not there? Nick Fury didn't even just walk cross screen like he was crossing the street. I could have been in the casino when they showed up there. There's all kinds of ways, but
they had no idea it was going to be that. I'm telling you.
And believe me, Don Cheadle said it. Anthony Mackie said it. The regular black people who were in the Marvel universe already were like, how come we didn't know about, there's no way Nick Fury didn't know about Wakanda.
Really appreciate it. And it's about time. And he was right. He was right. It literally made no sense that this dude would not be in Wakanda at all. And so, yes, I see a lot of people are talking about this now. A lot of outlets are publishing that or whatever. Listen, your boy was on it. Okay, go look at the timestamp. I was on this 2 years ago with the exclusive. Okay, so yeah, that to me is even more problematic because I'm like, look, y'all also had Wakanda Forever come out right after that, and y'all still didn't put Nick Fury in there. Y'all put Agent Ross in there, but y'all didn't put Nick Fury nowhere. You got a whole black movie, and you don't have the one black guy that's been there from the jump in that, like, at all. Listen, it just don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. But anyway, y'all let me know, what do you think about Sam Jackson's comments that he's still echoing to this day? To this day, he's still echoing this. Now, just by the way, update. I mean, Sam Wilson has been in Wakanda. Rhodey has been in Wakanda. Remember, they did show up in Infinity War so that they could fight the big battle and all that. Now, where Nick Fury was, why he wasn't there also, I don't know, whatever. But y'all let me know what you think about Nick Fury, the guy that knows everything, why this man has not stepped foot in Wakanda, and what you think about Sam's comments. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right. All right, let's move on to some DC updates. We got a couple DC updates, nothing too crazy, just some minor stuff. As you guys know, Peter Safran and James Gunn have taken over DC in terms of they now have their own separate standalone thing, just like the MCU. Now we have the DCU. So that is going to be its own little thing. It's going to be completely separate from the Elseworld stuff like Joker and the Batman with Robert Pattinson. It's going to be completely different than all the other stuff that we've seen, like with the Snyderverse stuff or whatever that DC's been trying to hold on to for way too long. But we did have James Gunn. He was on a podcast recently, Michael Rosenbaum's podcast. It was actually pretty good. It was actually a pretty good podcast. I would definitely encourage you guys to go check it out if you haven't already. And they talk about a bunch of different things about, like, James's jump from Marvel to DC, how he handles a lot of shoots and, juggling stuff. Like, it was actually pretty insightful. But he did drop one little piece of information, which was about the DCU. Now, in case y'all forgot, James Gunn did release part of Gods and Monsters. That's what they're calling Chapter 1 of the DCU. And he did talk about, like, all the movies that were coming up, and Batman, Brave and the Bold, Superman, etc., etc. And a lot of people were confused, though. A lot of people was like, wait, but, like, you got the Flash coming out. At the time, people was like, but Shazam is coming out, Flash is coming out, Blue Beetle's coming out, we still got Aquaman coming out. People was confused. People didn't understand, like, well, where does this start? Where does it begin? Does the Flash reset everything? Does this happen? Does this happen? Nobody knew. So James basically said that, like, now he gave a little bit more clarification. And one of the things that he ended up saying here, if I can get it up, boom, there we go, was that the first DCU, so that's the official first DCU character is going to be Blue Beetle. That's the first DCU character. He says for sure is Blue Beetle, and the first DCU movie is Superman. So while the Blue Beetle movie is not officially part of the DCU, this is probably still part of the old regime or whatever. It is not an official DCU movie, but the character will be in the DCU. And of course, Superman Legacy will be the very first movie to kick off, the DCU. And then we also have Creature Commandos, which will be, also the first animated series in the DCU. And of course, in case you forgot, James Gunn did say that everything in animated is also going to be connected with the TVs, and the TV stuff is going to be connected with the movies. So it's going to be one big flowing continuous thing all across the board. So he just wanted to kind of throw that in there and give that little bit of an update. Actually, we're going to jump ship to the next thing, which is going to be a little bit of regret, because in the Flash movie, and again, this was in the trailers, General Zod pops up, right? And that was played by Michael Shannon. And it was funny because Michael Shannon had earlier expressed some hesitancy in even playing the role. He didn't know if he should be in it. He didn't know. He was like, yo, I don't know. Like, General Zod had this whole character arc. Man, let me go call up Zack Snyder and try and figure this out. Like, we got to see, and while he was there, Zack Snyder was like, yeah, go ahead, go do it or whatever. And so he appeared in the Flash, but apparently after his portrayal, and after being talked into coming back, it seems as though Michael Shannon was feeling some type of way about it, and it looks like that he admits reprising Zod in the Flash wasn't satisfying, and that these multiverse movies are like somebody playing with action figures. Yikes. Let's see. He says here in this interview, I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't quite satisfying for me as an actor. These multiverse movies are like somebody playing with action figures. It's like, here's the person, here's that person, and then they're fighting. It's not quite an in-depth character study situation that I honestly felt Man of Steel was. He goes on to say the Flash was all about Ezra Miller. Zod was basically there to present a challenge. He's not wrong. He's not wrong, like at all. That was literally one of my critiques about the Flash, which by the way, you can go check out on my spoiler-free review. A lot of these characters are just kind of thrown in there, and yes, it is Flash's movie. And matter of fact, it is good for Flash's story. That's fine. But the way the supporting characters were used were not very well executed. So that includes Supergirl was not used very well. Sad to say it, but the GOAT, Batman, Michael Keaton, also was not used very well, in my opinion. And I'll give you guys a counter to kind of think about what I mean by not being used very well. When you look at Gwen Stacy, we just got done talking about Gwen Stacy and Across the Spider-Verse. Gwen Stacy is a supporting character, right? But she's not just used as some random plot device. She's not just thrown in there. She has, even if it's small, an arc. She has a purpose, not only to support Miles as a supporting character, but she has her own arc that is satisfying to a degree within her own story. I'll give you another example. Spider-Man No Way Home. They didn't just bring in Toby and Andrew just to fix Tom Holland, right? They didn't bring them in just for superficial fan service and be like, hey, I remember you guys. They didn't bring them in just to do the spider point and that's it. They brought them in because, yes, while they were supporting Tom Holland's character, they also had individual things that they had to resolve along the way. Andrew didn't get to save his Gwen, but he got to save MJ, right? Or Toby had all this pent-up anger and didn't know how to deal with it, but he was able to use that, learn from it, and pass that down through his own healing onto Tom Holland's Spider-Man. So a lot of that was kind of like that was a way to really use supporting characters in a meaningful way and not just throw them in there just to be like, ooh, look at this shiny character that we know y'all like. Go ahead and just ignore the fact that their story means nothing. Because I've said this too for the Flash. They literally could have replaced Michael Keaton's Batman would have said anything. So I understand where Michael Shannon is coming from with this, because a lot of the stuff that he had to do as Zod, he just had to show up, be mean, and that was it. There was no depth to his character. Now, in fairness, this is not Man of Steel. It's not really fair, even as an actor, to compare a full-length movie where Zod literally has like a lot more screen time to develop compared to, I don't know, the 10 minutes that he was in The Flash or whatever. I don't think that was a very fair comparison, but I do understand where he was going, and there was nothing of value that was added to his character, so I do get it. But anyway, y'all let me know, how do you feel about Michael Shannon feeling that kind of way that he did, coming in and playing Zod, saying that, it didn't really, all he was there was just to present a challenge, and that, it wasn't very fulfilling. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments down below. All right. Frigga, what you got? Wakandans could fix Fury's good excuse, or Fury's eye? No? Okay. Good excuse for, oh yeah, they could fix Fury's eye. Be a good excuse for a visit. They could. They literally, I mean, look, Rocket fixed the Thor's eye, kind of, with that weird stuff or whatever. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Wakanda absolutely could fix his eye. But, and by the way, it's actually kind of funny because, like, when we see him, especially in Secret Invasion, and again, it's in the trailer, so it's no spoiler, he doesn't wear the eye patch anymore. So, like, he's just out here, raw dog in the air with his eyeball, just, blind, and that's just what he's doing. But anyway, That would be a very good excuse. Yeah, you're right on that. Let's see. All right, so let's move on. Nelson, what you got? Thought Kryptonian bodies are made of steel. They're not made of steel. They're just okay, I think I know what you're referring to. Kryptonians obviously get more power once they have the sunlight and stuff. Now again, you know, take this with however you want, but like they can still be affected by things that come from their home planet. That's why kryptonite, which is just remnants of the planet's you know, core or whatever, that's why it affects them and makes them weaker. But you know, in other words, because again, I'm trying not to spoil it for people. If I have a bullet that I made on Krypton with Kryptonian metal, it doesn't matter if you Superman or not, I could kill you with that bullet, right? Because it has Kryptonian stuff. So that I think is the loophole that they use in that case. So I'll just leave it there, I think. Thank you so much for that. Let's see. We are going to stay on the Flash because we got to talk about these visual effects. Now, I've told y'all again in my review, one of the issues I had with the movie was that a lot of the visual effects didn't work for me. Sometimes they did. Sometimes they worked. Sometimes I thought they were fine. Sometimes I thought they were pretty cool to see. I liked the visual effects when Flash was running. Not a fan of Flash running, but I liked the visual effects while Flash was running. But there were some things. Now, here's the thing. The baby shower scene, I was not as critical about that. I didn't really care. I thought it was fine. I didn't have a problem with it. But apparently some people did have a problem with it, you know, because obviously, I won't spoil it. Obviously, you can't do what the movie tried to do with real babies, right? You can't do it. And obviously it would look dumb if you used baby dolls, you know. So there had to be some visual effects in there. Now, again, I didn't have the biggest problem with it, but other people did. I had other issues in the third act with that version of the VFX, but despite some of the visual effects being terrible, some of them were just terrible. I mean, some of them looked unpolished. Some of them looked like Warner Brothers was like, you know what? We're not going to pay the rest of this tab. Nah, don't worry. Just give it to us uncooked. Like they just did not care. And I think that for a lot of them, they just felt as though it was fine to just go ahead and leave it the way it was because the fan service was going to be enough. However, it seems as though we have a better answer because the director, Andy Muschietti, has actually responded to this whole thing about the VFX looking weird and poor and all that. And I'm going to do my best to avoid spoilers here. But apparently all that was intentional. Yes, according to the director, the Flash visual effects that baffled viewers, the director says they are intended to look a little weird to you. They are intended to look that way. All right. It says here, the idea, of course, is we were in the perspective of the Flash, Muschietti said. Everything is distorted in terms of lights and textures. We enter this water world, which is basically being in Barry's point of view. It was part of the design. So if it looks a little weird to you, that was intended. Sir, I believe that is cap. Stop playing with us, sir. Are you kidding me? Them boo-boo gutter booty trash VFX were intentional? Are you kidding me? Bro, stop it. Stop it. Okay. I'm going to take this from two different angles. One, I've already told y'all, all y'all had to do was let the VFX people cook. Just let them cook, right? And there's no excuse for that. We've seen what happens when you don't let VFX cook, and you're going to get a lot of mediocre looking Marvel movies that have real bad VFX, like Ant-Man 3, for example, because y'all didn't let them do their thing, okay? So we see what happens when you don't let them work. We also know that it's entirely possible to get quality, not only animation like Across the Spider-Verse, but you can get good quality VFX when you let them do their thing, like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Great visual effects. They made it clean. It was polished. It worked. That's the one thing. We know what's possible. We know what's not. Let me address exactly what he was trying to say here. And this is actually something I tried to give him a little credit for. I tried to actually give him some credit here. Going back, and again, going to keep it spoiler free. No spoilers for people that haven't seen it yet. Right here in this shot in the movie, right? And I actually praised this because I thought it was pretty good. The Flash puts on his visors, right? And these visors that you see, that it's basically the little eye shields or whatever that he has, they have like this orange tint to them. And if you noticed all around, okay, all around, the tint of the world also turns into that orangey color as well. And I thought that was actually a cool thing, right? The reason why I thought it was cool was because it was like, yo, this is actually kind of nice that it puts things, that it gives us the ability to be in the Flash's shoes. What Andy is trying to say here is the reason why in this scene all the VFX look blurry and googly and almost like he's underwater is because this is how the Flash sees the world. First of all, you didn't have to do that. Because if you have audiences that are sitting here like, why is this so terrible? Then that right there should have been the first sign that what you were trying to do, you couldn't accomplish. That was the first thing, right? Because as viewers of the audience, we can run next to the Flash, right? That's one thing. But to be in the Flash's shoes directly, that's not really necessary. But I understood where you were going by just changing the tint. But the issue that I have here is he's saying that because the Flash is, I guess, in hyperspeed or whatever, he goes ahead and he runs in the Speed Force and all of that. And this is how he sees the world. So in other words, the Flash sees the world almost like how you would look at things if you were underwater. The problem that I have with this is I feel like it's a direct contradiction to what is already established within the Flash. And what do I mean by that? If you know anything about the Flash, even if you watch the TV shows or even in the movie, the Flash literally has absolute control. I'm not making this up. This is established in the movie, in the comics, and in the TV. The Flash has absolute control of his molecular structure, which means the Flash can vibrate however he needs to vibrate, literally down to the molecule, which was a really cool scene. So the Flash can vibrate his molecules at whatever speed he wants. So in my opinion, I'm like, if the Flash can vibrate and control every molecule that he has, why is he still looking at the world all weird? Wouldn't he vibrate at a sense that while he's there as a speedster, everything would be just as fine? So, like, this excuse for the bad visual effects just does not add up to me. And again, it was not necessary. You could have just gotten away with just saying, oh, yellow visors. Okay, everything's in yellow. That's it. That's it. We don't need to be in Waterworld with the Flash. We don't have to. That's unnecessary. Hence, like I said, why all these people are sitting here like, why are these VFX so terrible? But then to sit here and say that was intentional, bro, stop the cap. Bro, just stop the cap. But anyway, I'm not buying it. I think it's a terrible excuse. Just say you messed up. Just say it, but I guess they're not going to admit that. Whatever. Because again, you have to also draw the line between where the story is happening and the audience is watching stuff. Why do I need to watch something that's blurry? Why? So let me ask you this. Let's take Andy's thinking and apply it further on. Let's say we watching Bird Box. Are we going to watch Bird Box like this? Is this how we going to watch Bird Box? Are y'all going to watch Bird Box just like this the whole time? This is Bird Box for y'all, according to Andy Muschietti. Is that how y'all going to watch the movie? God forbid we got to watch it from a blind person's perspective. Is that what y'all have to do? Because that's his logic right now. That's his logic. At some point, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we shouldn't do a couple things to be in relation with the character. You know how the difference is when the character's running fast and they're in slow-mo? That slow-mo is not for the camera. It's not for the character. It's for us. It's for us to see the character in what it looks like and what they're doing. But if we were to sit here and be in fast motion with nothing would make sense. We would just see a bunch of blurs. Okay? So no, this was a bad decision. This was a bad decision. Talking about we gonna see what the Flash sees. I don't want to see what the Flash sees. Flash already ain't even all that good. No, I don't need to see that. Whew. Anywho, what do y'all think about this decision to make us see what they saw and then call that the intentional decision on the boo-boo VFX that we ended up seeing in the Flash? Y'all let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll get to y'all comments in a second, but I have to go right into the next follow-up because it's all connected anyway. Right after this was all talked about, we got the news before the Flash even came out that the director for the Flash, Andy Muschietti, apparently is going to also be connected to Batman Brave and the Bold. And that's right, he is going to be now officially. It was teased at first and rumored, but now WB has officially said that they are going to have Andy Muschietti direct Brave and the Bold and direct the new Batman film. Peter Gunn and Safran ended up saying this about the Flash. It's a magnificent film, funny, emotional, thrilling, and Andy's affinity and passion for these characters and this world just resonates through every frame. So when it came to find a director for The Brave and the Bold, there was really only one choice. Luckily, Andy said yes. Barbara signed on to produce with us, and we were on our way. They're an extraordinary team, and we couldn't have better or more inspiring partners as we embark on this thrilling new adventure in the DCU. And of course, this also says that it is going to exist outside of Robert Pattinson's Batman movies. So they said here that they couldn't find nobody else. He was the number one choice, sir. Once again, that's cap. Stop it. Listen, everything that I just told you previously is just one, that VFX nonsense of we did that intentionally. That's a director's decision that they made, right? I had other issues with decision making from Andy Muschietti that, in my opinion, would not make him my top choice for Batman Brave and the Bold. Now, first and foremost, let me just say, a Batman property is going to be your bread and butter as your franchise, okay? Superman, yeah, that's the face, but the heart and soul, that's going to be Batman. Batman's going to be whether or not you make or break your franchise moving forward, okay? That's your real moneymaker. People will go watch Superman. They'll go watch Wonder Woman. But the real intrigue is Batman. There's a reason why they threw Batman into the Flash. You think that was a coincidence? It was not. It was not. They threw Batman into the Flash the same way they threw Mando into Boba Fett. Okay, Flash he almost got Boba Fetted by the GOAT, Michael Keaton. That's the whole thing. So, Batman is literally the driving force from a business perspective. From a box office perspective, Batman is a draw. Okay, that's what I'm talking about when I say he is the heart and soul when it comes to DC. And again, Superman is the face. But my issue with Andy Muschietti as being director is more so about him as a director. When you look at like a lot of the movies that he's done, he's been hit or miss, right? He directed the movie Mama. And Mama was a horror movie that I actually liked. I liked Mama, but the problem was the third act fell apart for me. The final scenes and all that stuff, as scary as the movie was in the beginning, as good as it was with the buildup, it just couldn't stick the landing. It couldn't stick the landing, in my opinion. Then he did It Chapter 1, which I really liked. I thought he did a fantastic job with It Chapter 1, but I also understand that in the story, the Stephen King book, that was also one of the more popular stories anyway. It Chapter 2, it wasn't as good. Let's just say it wasn't as good. So it was kind of like hit or miss right there. And then you have him with the Flash. And I think the Flash is going to be mixed. I don't know if Flash is going to be the box office hit that they believe that they want it to be. I think that there are going to be some people that love the Flash, and there are going to be some people that really just don't like it. Like, I think it's going to be just mixed reactions, which again has kind of been par for the course for DC for the past decade. There have been people that love Man of Steel and some that don't mess with it. I actually like Man of Steel. There's some people that hate Batman v Superman, and there are people that love it. Like it's not usually one of those things that's universal with them all the time. So for me, I'm just a little kind of iffy about, because like I said, Batman is one of your most recognizable characters. Batman is a pivotal character in building the confidence of what the DCU is going to look like and what we can expect. Andy Muschietti is not the person I would have put at the top of my list. I mean, and part of me kind of feels as though James Gunn just, buddy with him, has a real good time with, and that's fine. That's one director to another. I get that. But I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, I don't think I would put the fate, and I do believe this is the case, I wouldn't put the fate of DC in the hands of Andy Muschietti, because if that Batman film don't do well, that's going to be a problem. Now, I'm not going to say he's an automatic miss. There's a very good possibility that Andy Muschietti could step in, do Batman Brave and Bold, and knock it out the park. There's a good chance about that. But what I've seen him do in this past movie, it gives me trepidation. It makes me weary on that, because there were issues I had with his decision-making in terms of the pacing of the Flash. There were certain things I was like, yo, you made the decision not to trim out some really good fat that could have been cut out of the Flash to tell a more effective story. I had some issues with the superficial fan service. In other words, the hey, look at this, don't you like this, but it really means nothing for the story. I had issues with that. I had issues with like his decision making in terms of how to utilize characters effectively. I thought he did a really good job in directing Barry, the main character, but the side characters, yikes, not very well executed. So again, I don't know how much of that is on Andy, but at the same time, you the director, the buck got to stop with you as well. And I do wonder, like, maybe things will be a little different because Peter Safran and James Gunn will be involved. Maybe they can help a little bit. I don't know. But no, Andy Muschietti would not be my very first choice to do this. And I'm gonna throw this last thing at y'all. What y'all gonna do if the Flash flops? If the Flash does not do very well, he's still gonna be y'all top choice? Y'all still gonna let that ride? Because to me, it just felt incredibly premature to go out your way before the movie even dropped to be like, oh, Andy's so great, we got to make him in charge of Batman. That sounds hella premature. Now, it would have been different if, let's say, the Flash did record numbers. The Flash knocked it out the park. The Flash was doing the damn thing. And then they was like, man, you see what Andy did? Boom, Andy's finna do this. Like, that would have made more sense to me to make that announcement. But if this movie does not perform, if this movie fails in the box office, I don't know how that's going to look to say, yeah, the guy that made our bad movie is going to take on one of our most popular characters. So I'm curious to see what happens with the Flash. Like I said, I'm pretty sure audiences will like it probably more than dislike it, but I don't know how that's going to translate to dollars. So that's going to be something. But once again, this isn't exciting news to hear that he's going to be directing it. Not to say that he's going to fail automatically, but yeah, this was a choice. Anyway, y'all let me know. How do you feel about Andy Muschietti taking over Batman Brave and the Bold? Do you think that, you know, he's a good fit? If you have seen The Flash, if you've seen Mama, if you've seen It Chapter 1 and 2, you know, based off of his work, does that give you some confidence? Either way, let me know what you think in the comments down below. All right, that was a lot. Let's see. We got okay. Christian, what you got? Hey, I think Jaden Michael would be a great Miles Morales. He's the young Afro-Latino that played in Vampires versus the Bronx. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, like I am not very picky when it comes to this. Like I've said, though, just get a dark-skinned Afro-Latino kid, teen, not 28 years old, Shamik Moore. You know, don't be getting no grown folks in this, but like get an actual teenager that can act, give them that time to flourish, you know. So if Jaden works, that's fine with me. That works. I don't know who Jaden is. I don't know, but I'll take your word for it. Let's see, Puma, and you trust him to take Brave and the Bold? No, I do not. I don't. I mean, again, maybe he does a good job, but does he have my automatic trust the way that James Gunn and them are gassing him up? No, not based off of what I've seen, you know, but no, he does not. Let's see. Puma, back at it. Thank you so much. They better get the director of Batman versus Robin to do the film. Animation guys are the ones who get it right. Watch that movie, Under the Red Hood. Yes. Yes, I've seen both movies. Under the Red Hood was cool. Batman versus Robin, it was fine. But at the same time, I'm fine with that. You know what I'm saying? I've been saying for the longest, if y'all want untapped directors or whatever, like the animation in DC has been doing the thing for a minute now. So I'm fine with that. I would have more trust for someone that did an animated movie that was really good to step in and to do this. I'd be more willing. Now, I don't know the difference between directing an animated film versus a live action. I don't know the difference. I will admit that, but I would be more willing to give that an opportunity based off of what we've seen so far. But thank you so much, Puma. I appreciate you. Let's see. There we go. Keltrick, thank you so much. After seeing The Flash, I can see why James picked Andy for Brave and the Bold. The Batman action sequences in The Flash were great, especially Keaton's. You know what? I will agree with you on that. And this is why I said like I'm mixed on Andy, because there were some things that he did that were really good, but I've seen more bad things that he did. Now, what you're talking about right now, that those action sequences with Keaton, oh, my man cooked. You know what I'm saying? He was working, right? He was doing his business, and I was cool with that. However, a Batman movie is not only based off of action scenes. I know that's hard for some people to really get sometimes. I'm not talking about you, but I'm saying, like, I know a lot of people just think immediately to the warehouse scene in Batman v Superman or something like that. That's not what makes a good Batman story, is just the action scenes. You need to especially when you're adding in Damian, you have so many other dynamics that need to be included to tell a good quality Batman story. You have to show that Batman is nuts, okay? Batman is crazy, and he's so crazy that he can pull off the persona of Bruce Wayne like day and night. So you got to tackle that. You have to show the fact that this dude is driven by trauma, okay? And not only that, now that you introduce Damian Wayne into this, you also have the you have to first of all tackle Damian Wayne, who is a little psycho. This dude is psychotic. He is one of those people that's like, yo, that person just jaywalked. Can I go kill him now? That's Damian Wayne. He's crazy too. So you got two crazy dudes, and Batman's got to try and pretend that he got it all together to raise his son. But Batman got daddy and mama issues, and Damian gonna have some daddy issues. You have a lot of psychological things going on with Batman, basically, that, you know, you can't just sit here and rely on the action. You got to tell a deeper story, and there are deeper themes that have to be like just nailed to really tell a good story. And that's where I'm a little iffy about Andy. Andy can maybe get that, but man, if my man is sitting here like, oh, I'm just gonna do some superficial things, I'm gonna take some shortcuts, I don't know when to cut fat from the movie and stuff, that's where I got some issues. So if you want to bring him on as a part-time director and just do the action scenes, okay, but I need more than that. That's all I'm saying. I need a little bit more, because I believe the things that make Batman really work are when you really can tap in to all those other psychological elements that make Batman Batman. But anyway, thank you so much for that. I really, really do appreciate it. We are winding down. Ooh, and we not gonna hit 3 hours. I told y'all. Let's move on. Yeah, all right. Let's just kind of let's do this real quick. So this is a minor thing, but we've talked about how when it comes to the Flash, because we're gonna stick to this topic. When it comes to the Flash, there was a report that apparently WB felt so confident in this movie before that they already had a script like already done, right? Like they was like, "Yo, this thing is sitting in the warehouse. It's in the basement, in the file cabinet, whatever. We ready, right? Like we're ready." We also had the same director, Andy Muschietti, sitting here talking about, well, I'll never recast Ezra Miller. Okay, we'll get to Ezra in a second. But according to a new report, which I think this makes all the sense in the world, it seems like the Flash sequel, well, it depends. It depends. And it says here that the Flash sequel is going to, it's on the table despite the DC reboot, but that first film has to pass the box office test. Let's see. According to this, it says the first film in the series has to pass the box office test first, but a follow-up is on the table according to insiders with knowledge on the project. It says right now that The Flash is currently tracking to open around 70 million at the domestic box office. However, the film will have to leg out and come close to what 2021's The Batman grossed, which had about 770 million, in order to get a sequel off the ground. So can the Flash make 700 million? I don't know about that. I don't know. I mean, I feel like, and this is just my gut, so, you know, obviously I could be wrong. I feel like the competition that is in the works right now, in, let's see, hold on, let's actually look it up. I want to see what the competition is right now, because I think it's going to be some stiff competition for the Flash. Maybe not too much. Well, maybe it'll be all right. Okay, let's look at it. Maybe it's not going to be too bad. Let me make this a little bigger for y'all. So you do have, well, Transformers is out right now. Across the Spider-Verse is still out in theaters right now. Maybe that does a little competition. Elemental, family movie, Pixar might do a little something. Netflix, that don't count. Yep, I don't think that's gonna count. So let's see. That's gonna be a good week right there. Nothing. Indiana Jones. So 2 weeks, and Indiana Jones gonna come out. That might be a problem. Maybe. Yeah. So I think that'd be the only real competition it has is gonna be Indiana Jones. And that's only going to give it about 2 weeks to shine. With the mixed reactions that are coming out, I don't know, because that's the word of mouth that's happening right now. Flash is out right now. People are talking about it. I know some people brought up the blackening. I don't think the blackening is going to be major competition because it goes for 2 different audiences. But I don't know if this is going to hit 700 million. I don't know. I think it's going to do Black Adam numbers. Like, I could definitely see it doing 400 million. And that's not bad. It's not terrible at all, if it does 400 million. Matter of fact, what was the budget for the Flash? Hold on, let's see. Because they did a lot of reshoots too. So let's see. What was the budget for the Flash? The Flash had... Never mind. Looks like the budget was about 200 million. 200 million for the Flash. They made a good 10 mil today. Okay, whatever. I don't care about the first day. 200 mil. And like I've always told y'all, tack on like another 100 mil, give or take, for commercials and stuff like that for marketing. It's going to need that 700 million to basically be profitable. Because even if it hits 6, that 2 times ain't really all that great. It's nice, but it's not that great. So I could totally see why they say now they gotta hit that. But hold on. Hold on. I see. So I'm gonna address that in a second. I'm gonna address that. But yeah, so that is definitely gonna be a challenge for this movie to get a sequel. I don't know if it's gonna make it. 700 seems like a lot for this, but it's possible, because I don't know what it's gonna do across seas. Like, maybe internationally, that's where it's gonna get its biggest boost. We'll have to wait and see. Y'all let me know how much do you think the Flash is gonna make? Do y'all think it could hit the 700 mil? Do you think it could be more? I definitely don't think it's gonna hit $1 billion. I definitely don't think that's gonna happen. But y'all let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now let me get to Kiki real quick, because Kiki trying to be funny. Kiki out here kikiing over here in the comments. Kiki, now what you see? Okay, 400 million is not bad after you dragged Vin Diesel last week. Now let me tell you something. There was a big difference. Big difference. There was only like, I don't know, $100 million difference between what the Flash's budget was and what Fast X's budget was. That's the big difference right there. Okay, so 400 million for the Flash ain't as bad as 400 million for Fast X, where that barely even touched. And by the way, in fairness to Fast X, they are at 600 mil, 650. So I just want to clear that up. Because Kiki trying to be, she being funny. But anyway, let's move on to the last bit here that we have, which is of course, y'all day. Ezra Miller. We are not going to go through the full litany of Ezra Miller's problems, issues, and all that, because you can go check through my other videos. I have plenty that recap everything. Ezra Miller has been arrested multiple times, has pled guilty to crimes. It doesn't matter if they're petty or not. Ezra Miller has broken the law. Ezra Miller has been accused of some very heinous things, including starting a cult, endangering the lives of small children, potentially or allegedly grooming of minors. There's a lot of bad stuff, a lot of bad juju, going around Ezra Miller. And while all these things were happening, Ezra has made fun of avoiding the police because can't catch me, I'm in the Speed Force. And then when the threat came about that the movie might be canceled, that's when Ezra woke up. That's when Ezra started to realize, I could be a problem here. I don't want to ruin it for all the other people that were working hard on this film. And that, I get that. So Ezra released a statement, and in that statement, Ezra, it was a very PR dry statement. I want to apologize for my behavior. I want to apologize. I got mental health issues. I'm going to rehab. That was it. This did not come from Ezra via video. This did not come from Ezra's mouth. This came from some generic typed up answer that was submitted or whatever. All right. I have been on record saying that Ezra Miller, I don't believe should be recast, or I don't believe that they should continue with Ezra. I believe that Ezra should be recast, as the Flash in the DCU. It was actually one of the reasons why I loved the ending of the Flash, which I won't spoil, because I feel like it was the most appropriate thing to do. And look, if Ezra gets their act together, if nobody comes forward with more charges or lawsuits or anything like that, if no one does anything, and Ezra cleans up their act, cool. Bring Ezra back if there's true change in behavior, right? Cool. I'm fine with that. At the same time, I've always said that while I do believe Ezra deserves all the help that they need, that there should be a level of accountability, responsibility, and at least some more contrition for their actions and stuff. And because of all this drama and everything, one of the biggest questions was always, what's going to happen when the Flash premieres? What's going to happen when Ezra has to go promote the movie? Because clearly, if you're a reporter worth any grain of salt, a lot of people are going to sit here and like ask questions about like, yo, what's going on? Like, what are you doing? All that, right? And it was already kind of reported that Ezra was going to show up at the Flash premiere, but they were only going to do pictures, right? That's all they were going to do. And that's fine, right? Like, to me, I was sitting here like, you know what? WB already dropped the ball. They should have said something earlier. Like when Ezra was harassing people, when Ezra was trespassing and terrorizing Hawaii and all this stuff, when Ezra was assaulting people, WB should have came out with a statement at that time by just saying like, yo, we don't condone these actions, but go see the Flash. Like, they could have just played it that way, but they stayed quiet. And just having Ezra show up, I guess, but the thing is, that was still going to be a distraction. That was still a distraction. However, Ezra did not just show up and be quiet. Ezra actually did talk. And we have a couple clips here of the things that Ezra said while they were out there. And I was very curious as to what Ezra was actually going to say. So let's prep up as we get to this last topic and hear what Ezra had to say. All right. I don't know what happened with that, but anyway, let's get this propped up here. So I was very curious to see what Ezra was going to say while they were up there. Because the main thing is like, yo, are you going to address your past behavior? Are you going to do any of that? All right. Let's see here what they ended up saying.
Well, besides just being one of the most glorious, beautiful, wonderful people I've ever been privileged enough to know, I think Andy is such a detailed, creative mind. I think he's perfect for this genre because he's such a visual artist. Similar to Zack Snyder, who brought me into this whole world. Andy is another director like that who's almost like a comic book visionary. He has his own really detailed, really sophisticated approach.
Okay. Ezra wasn't talking about nothing. So I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, maybe Ezra's not going to say nothing here, but maybe it'll just make more sense somewhere else. Maybe, am I freezing on y'all at all? Because my thing is freezing up. Hold on one second. Hold on 1 second. So I don't understand what's going on here. Give me a second, y'all. Give me 1 second. Something is going on. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I don't know what is happening? I can't believe WB is trying to hold me down like this. Y'all doing it? No, I'm just playing. It's not WB. But the powers that be clearly don't want me to talk about this. Clearly. So we do have one more clip here of Ezra. And this was like during the actual screening of the Flash during the premiere. And again, I'm sitting here thinking like, yo, what is Ezra going to say? Like, what is actually going to be involved in whatever they say? So let's go ahead and take a listen to what Ezra has to say. And maybe it'll be something worthwhile.
Here we are. I love them so much. Thank you, all of you. Take it.
Thank you. I'll try to make this fast. I'll try to make that the last pun. Maestro has said it all and has said it well, and I just want to say that I love you, Maestro. I think you're amazing, and I think your work is monumental. Nothing short of monumental. Barbara, our great champion, Disco, Walter, and Galen, and Marianne Jenkins, wherever you are, probably in England. I want to thank Gardner Fox and Harry Lampert. I want to thank Bob Caniger and Carmine Infantino for initiating this character into life. And I want to thank Zach and Deborah Snyder. And I want to thank Grant and Kristen Morrison for initiating me into the life of this character in so many ways. And I want to thank Pam Abdi. And I want to thank Mike DeLuca. And I want to thank David Zaslav and the dynamic duo, Peter Safran and James Gunn, for your grace and discernment and care in the context of my life and in bringing this moment actually to fruition. And I want to thank every single member of our unstoppable.
All right, that's basically it. He just keeps thanking everybody, or they start thanking everybody. So what stood out to me here was the whole idea of Peter Gunn and I'm sorry, Safran and Gunn, and Ezra thanking them for the grace and discernment, given the context of his life and all that stuff or whatever. Like, that's the part to me where I'm like, at no point, and I get it, you sticking to the script, right? You do have to do the business, and the business is to promote the film and all that. But I'm like, at no point were you gonna apologize? Like, at no point were you gonna be like, I'm really sorry for any distractions. Thank you for holding me down. Like, at no point. Like, No point. That was, to me, I thought that was a perfect opportunity to just do a public apology. Like, sorry for being a distraction. But I'm getting the help that I need. Shout out to James Gunn and y'all for holding me down during that time, but I apologize for my actions. Just something, nothing. I just don't feel like, I don't know. For me, I'm not okay with acting like all that stuff didn't happen. I'm not okay with trying to act as though, well, because it's mental health, well, it's no big deal, because let's be honest, if a lot of this stuff happened to y'all, if somebody just came up and slapped your mama, if somebody literally walked into your house, stole your wallet, your passport, trespassed, by the way, and stole all your stuff, you gonna be okay and be like, it's just mental health. If somebody came in there and spit in your face, you're going to be like, it's just mental health. Nah, like, look, at some point, you almost put this whole project in jeopardy. Almost. All them people that worked for a long time. And not even a sorry, not even my bad, not even, hey, you know what? I messed up, I'm trying to get better. Nothing. Because all that sounded like to me was like, yo, thank you for defending me and caping for me while I was a whole supervillain. That's what that sounded like. While I was out there acting a whole fool, thank you, Peter, and thank you, James, for having my back and not saying nothing and just keeping it quiet. Thank y'all. Because, again, and I've said this too, WB did not have to trash Ezra Miller. They did not have to throw Ezra Miller under the bus at all. They just did not have to seem as though that they were complicit with their silence with Ezra Miller's actions. Every time they did not say a word, every time they just let Ezra do whatever Ezra was doing and getting arrested, getting in trouble and all that, every time they said nothing, it seemed as though they was like, at least we got our Flash movie. Yeah, our main hero is acting like a villain, but at least we gonna make these dollars, yo. Like, that's the way it came off. And that's what I'm talking about. It's a lot of optics going on here with Ezra Miller and the lack of, I would say, a genuine response, because you could see Ezra sitting here fully capable of thanking people that defended them, but not one word about like, I'm so sorry, I messed up. Now, is it possible that eventually Ezra could come out and do it? Yes, it is possible. I just thought that this was a missed opportunity for that to happen. But anyway, y'all let me know, how do you feel about their, I don't know, press work? By the way, I noticed that the only press that they were talking to was definitely a very, very smaller outlet that nobody's heard of. But that when they talk about limited, I guess that was limited. But anyway, y'all let me know how you feel about what Ezra had to say in the comments down below. All right, that's it. Oh, look at that. Under 3 hours. Yes, gotcha. Let's see. Just my opinion reviews. I told y'all about him. Y'all go subscribe. Do you know what happened to the Jonathan Majors court date? Yes, it got postponed. I believe it is getting postponed to next Tuesday or something, next week, something like that. Don't quote me exactly on that, but it has been postponed, which happens with a lot of court cases too. 60 plus, thank you so much. The backers of the Flash are hoping that it gets the same reactions as Trump. The more trouble he gets in, the more popular he gets. Pathetic. I don't know if it's exactly the same. I think, just like it was kind of mentioned in the comments, I think that they're just hoping people forget. I'm hoping that I think that they're like, you know what, like the movie going purist audience, the people like us right now that talk about this stuff, we're not going to forget. Okay. We're not going to forget. But I think they're hoping that the general audience, the general folks that don't keep up with movie news, I think they're thinking, you know what, we just gonna act like it's not a thing and it's just gonna disappear. It's just gonna be swept under the rug. Now, to an extent, that could happen because Ezra Miller is not that popular of a character, of an actor. Ezra Miller is not a name brand household name of an actor where people are like caring about Ezra like that. So it is possible some people just don't care and then they forget. I'm not gonna forget, because every time y'all put this person as your hero and there's no level of reconciliation or rehabilitation, I'm gonna remind y'all that that's a problem. Okay, because I know there are a lot of people out there that are like, nah, I don't even want to watch this movie because of Ezra Miller. But yeah, we'll see how that goes, though. Thank you so much for that. Oh my gosh. Antoinette always coming through in the clutch. Thank you so much for that. Super generous. You're so generous. Thank you so much for supporting the channel the way you do. I really, really do mean that. Thank you, Antoinette. You said here, Grant Gustin said in the interview that he would always be open to anything that is the Flash. Do you think that he could carry a movie? He could be better than Ezra Miller. I think he could do that. Would Grant Gustin be my first pick as the Flash for a movie? No, he would not. And that's a lot of things kind of go into that. Like, you have to kind of be careful with what you wish for, right? Because going from TV to movies doesn't always translate. It's a different type of acting. It's a different type of presence that certain actors have, or sometimes that they don't have. So do I think that that Grant could do it? Well, if you told me pick between Grant Gustin and Ezra Miller, I'm taking Grant all day, every day. But if you tell me like, yo, let's go through the full list of capable actors, I don't know if Grant is going to be the number one on my list. I'm pretty sure we could probably find a full gamut. Let's be honest. You don't need that much. There's 100, white, brunette, talented actors, a dime a dozen in Hollywood that could probably act circles around not only Ezra, but probably also Grant. So could he do it? Sure. Would he be my first pick? Not really. But I wouldn't be mad if he were able to come in and do it. I would not be mad about it. I think that it would be cool for fan service. Fans would like it, but I don't know if fans are going to keep that same energy after they see Grant Gustin in a movie. I don't know if y'all going to keep that, because again, what you see in the CW acting, that's not even HBO Max acting. Okay, just that in itself is not the same thing. Okay, Grant Gustin ain't winning no Emmys. Okay, not to my recollection, not that I know of. Okay, I don't know anybody working in the CW that's winning a whole lot of awards for their acting ability. And the last thing I'm gonna do is take someone from the CW and pay them tens of millions of dollars on a big budget movie. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. But anyway, thank you, Antoinette, so much. I so appreciate you once again for that wonderful donation. You are one of the top supporters, and it just means so much. So thank you for that. All right, y'all. That's all I got for today. I want to thank y'all for a fantastic stream tonight. Really means a lot. I am tired. I am bushed. I'm done. I was going to try and work on some stuff. I can't do that now. I just got to work my butt off tomorrow and get this stuff together. So stay tuned. I have Secret Invasion interviews for you all. Like I said, I have interviews with the director. And then later in the week after the episode drops, I have an interview with the main bad guy, Kingsley Ben-Adir. You don't want to miss either one of those. I am also going to post some more interviews from people that I've talked to in From. And of course, I got my breakdown for From episode 9. We only got 2 episodes left. I'm gonna get that to you guys as well. And then I got some other theory videos I got to work on. So I got some stuff to do. I got work to do. Anyway, shout out to all the dads out there. Happy pre-Father's Day to all of y'all. Kick up your feet, enjoy yourself, watch something, eat some pizza. I don't know, whatever y'all want to do. Go ahead and do that. And and happy Juneteenth to all of y'all on Monday as well. enjoy the time off. I will see y'all next week. I think we're going to do Secret Invasion on Wednesday, maybe Thursday. Stay tuned. I'll post something. But anyway, I will see y'all later. You know what to do. Wash your hands, wash your butts. Have a fantastic weekend. And I will see y'all next time. Peace.